Equestrian New South Wales has announced a policy requiring that our members attending Hendra vaccinated events as of January the 1st, 2014 must have their horses fully vaccinated against the Hendra virus. We see this as a risk management issue. We have to be very mindful of the health and safety of our members, their horses, spectators, event organisers and of course the wider community, because Hendra does represent a potentially fatal health issue.
According to New South Wales DPI records, an astounding number of 19,000 horses have been vaccinated in New South Wales in the month of July. The only adverse reactions that have been reported have been minor swelling and soreness at the injection site, which is resolved in general spontaneously within a day or two. So a lot of the stories that we've heard on the grapevine about terrible things happening to horses, I don't believe are true, and they're not substantiated.
In 2014, as of January the 1st, all horses attending Hendra vaccinated events will require full protection from Hendra. They have to be fully vaccinated. Of course, in the meantime, we would strongly recommend that all of our members consider vaccinating all of those horses that are in a risk category. In case that there is something like a lockdown that might occur in the event of a Hendra outbreak before that time, or we don't want members to have to be turned away from attending an event should their horses not be vaccinated. So we would strongly recommend that our members consider vaccinating all of their horses.
The requirement is that the horse receives the second vaccination between 21 and 42 days after the first, and the horse is considered fully protected a further 21 days after the second vaccination. Therefore, the minimum time from commencement of the vaccination program to full protection is 42 days.
The Hendra vaccinated event is one whereby horses are staying overnight at the event venue, potentially in close contact with each other. And we feel that these events represent the higher risk category of a Hendra outbreak. And of course, we know that Hendra virus has potentially catastrophic consequences. So even if you're just turning up for a few hours to compete and your horse is tied up at the float, for example, if other horses are in fact staying at the event venue overnight, your horse, even for a couple of hours in attendance, must be vaccinated against Hendra.
Well, the Equestrian New South Wales policy requires horses attending a Hendra vaccinated event to be vaccinated, but we also strongly recommend that owners do vaccinate all their horses which are at risk, and we've listed what those risk factors are. So it's a strong recommendation that even the horses that are not competing and not being transported are vaccinated if they come into the risk groups that we've listed. I've had the opportunity to look into the science behind the development of this vaccine and the very high quality research that's been done, and there's absolutely no likelihood of a vaccinated horse shedding virus. The vaccine is actually not a virus, it's not a live virus, it's not a killed virus. This is some of the misinformation. It's what's called a recombinant vaccine. So there's really no likelihood of wild virus escaping or anything like that. It's also quite a different situation from equine influenza, where we do know, as with human influenza, that vaccinated animals and people can shed low levels of virus after vaccination. That's not the case with this virus. Vaccinated horses have no virus anywhere in the body. This issue is being actively pursued by our Commonwealth Department of Agriculture in association with Equine Veterinarians Australia. And we're confident that there will be a resolution to this because there's some sensible science being promoted here and it's just a temporary hiccup, we believe, and we can see our way forward to get horses wherever they need to go, whenever they need to go, including to World Equestrian Games and Olympics. Like any pharmaceutical, safety for breeding animals takes a little longer because we've got to wait till the breeding cycle follows its course. We do have some 435 odd horses that have been vaccinated on Coolmore stud, and they're actually foaling down as we speak, and so far so good. I should really stress that there's no reason to think that this vaccine will be any different from the multitude of other vaccinations that are currently recommended for using breeding animals. But safety in pregnancy always takes a little longer to establish in breeding animals. But studies are underway right now, and we're fairly confident that the vaccine will be found to be safe and effective in those groups. Well, certainly vets have a strong interest in the development of this vaccine, and there's no reason to hide from that. Veterinarians have died of Hendra virus, and right at the outset, the veterinary profession were active in lobbying both the government through CSIRO and potential manufacturers to produce a vaccine. And that's certainly in the interest of the vets, and it's in the interest of the general horse community and their horses. I don't think it's a conflict of interest, but certainly the veterinary profession has a very strong interest in having horses and therefore themselves protected against Hendra virus.